James and the Giant Peach, chapters 31 to 33.
Well, are you pleased that old centipede can move and talk and run around again? I'm not sure the earthworm was. Chapter 31. How fast we are going all of a sudden, the ladybird said. I wonder why. I don't think the seagulls like this place any more than we do, James answered. I imagine they want to get out as soon as they can. They got a bad fright in the storm that we've just been through. Faster and faster the seagulls went, skimming across the sky at a tremendous pace, with the Peach trailing out behind them. Cloud after cloud went by on either side of them, ghostly white in the moonlight, and several more times during the night the travellers caught sight of the cloud men moving around on tops of clouds, working their sinister magic upon the world below. Once they'd passed the sewing machine in operation, with a cloud man turning the handle and a great blizzard of snowflakes blowing out through a great funnel above. They saw huge drums that were used for making thunder, and the cloud men beating them furiously with long hammers. They saw the frost factories and the wind producers, and the places where cyclones and tornadoes were manufactured and sent spinning down towards the earth. And once, deep in the hollow of a large billowy cloud, they spotted something that could only have been a cloud man's city. There were caves everywhere running into the cloud, and at the entrances of the caves the cloud men's wives were crouching over little stoves with frying pans in their hands, frying snowballs for their husbands' suppers. And hundreds of cloudmen children were frisking about all over the place, shrieking with laughter and sliding down billows of cloud on their toboggans. An hour later, just before dawn, the travellers heard a soft whooshing noise above their heads, and they glanced up and saw an immense, grey, bat-like creature swooping down towards them out of the dark. It circled round and round the Peach, flapping its great wings slowly in the moonlight and staring at the travellers. Then it uttered a series of long, deep, melancholy cries and flew off again into the night. Oh, I do wish the morning would come, Miss Spider said, shivering all over. It won't be long now, James answered. Look, it's getting lighter already. And they all sat in silence, watching the sun as it came up slowly over the rim of the horizon for a new day. Chapter 32. When finally daylight came at last, they all got to their feet and stretched their poor cramped body. And then the centipede, who always seemed to see things first, shouted, Look! There's land below! He's right, they cried, running to the edge of the Peach and peering over. Hooray! Hooray! It looks like streets and houses, but how enormous it all is. A vast city glistened in the early morning sunshine, lay spread out 3,000 feet below them. At that height, cars were like little beetles crawling along the streets, and people walking on the pavements looked no larger than tiny grains of soot. Well, what tremendous tall buildings, exclaimed the ladybird. I've never seen anything like them before in England. Which town do you think it is? Oh, this couldn't possibly be England, said the old green grasshopper. Well, where is it? Said Miss Spider. You know what those buildings are? Shouted James, jumping up and down with excitement. Those are skyscrapers! It must be America! Oh, and that, my friends, means that we have crossed the Atlantic Ocean overnight. You don't mean it, they cried. "It's not possible. It's incredible. It's unbelievable." "Oh, I've always dreamed of going to America," cried the centipede. "I had a friend once who—" "Be quiet," said the earthworm. "Who cares about your friend? The things we've got to think about now are how on earth are we going to get down to earth?" "Ask James," said the ladybird. "I don't think that should be so difficult," James told them. "All we have to do is—" What do you think they're going to do? "All we have to do is cut loose a few seagulls. Not too many, mind you. Just enough so that the others can't quite keep us in the air. Then down we'll go, slowly, slowly and gently, until we reach the ground. Centipede will bite through the strings for us, one at a time." Do you think it's going to work, or do you think they're going to crash? I'll have to see. Let's have a look. Chapter 33. Far below them, in the city of New York, something like pandemonium was breaking out. A great round ball, as big as a house, had been sighted, hovering over, high up in the sky, over the very centre of Manhattan, and the cry had gone up that it was an enormous bomb sent by another country to blow up the whole city, to blow them to smithereens. Air raid sirens began wailing in every section. All radio and television programmes were interrupted with announcements that the population must go down to their cellars immediately. 1 million walking in the streets on their way to work looked up into the sky and saw the monster hovering above them and started running for the nearest subway entrance or to take cover. Generals grabbed hold of telephones and shouted orders to everyone they could think of. The mayor of New York called up the president of the United States of Washington, D.C. to ask him for help. The president, who at that moment was having breakfast in his pyjamas, quickly pushed away his half-finished plate of sugar crisps and started pressing buttons right and left to summon his admirals and the generals. And all the way across the vast stretch of America, in all the 50 states from Alaska to Florida till Pennsylvania to Hawaii, the alarm was sounded, and the word went out that the biggest bomb in history of the world was hovering over New York City, and any moment it might go off. Oh my golly gosh! What's going to happen next? I don't know what's going to happen next. I think if there was a bomb floating above America nowadays, Mr. Donald Trump would probably fire all sorts of things at it. But this wasn't our days. It was a while ago. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next. I hope they're all right. I hope they survive. I hope they're not shot out of the sky. You have to wait till tomorrow to find out. See you later.